Hello and welcome back to the Extra Innings Baseball Show. I'm your host Logan Stump, and with me again is Jordan Weekend.
Hello.
How's it going, Jordan?
Good.
Do you feel like you are cultured now in baseball?
What is that? What is baseball?
It's the sport with like the touchdown, like the touchdown field goals.
Is it like cricket?
Yes, it is like cricket, and not Jiminy, the other ones.
Cricket wireless. Okay.
Yeah, Cricket Wireless, yeah. So those of you that are just joining us, or maybe this is the first time you've listened, Jordan is actually just fresh off of his trip from Cooperstown, and we are going to talk to him today about Cooperstown. Just Jordan, first couple of thoughts that come to your mind when you're talking about Cooperstown. Like, what was it like? How did it feel? Were you excited? Was it awful?
Magical, I'll say. Magical. It really the little town itself kind of reminds me of like my little town around me, but also like just like a nice little, have you watched Once Upon a Time? Storybrooke?
Yeah, I guess kind of
like Maine town, how that's like a Mainish town. It feels kind of like that. It's like there's Main Street, and on Main Street is all these little shops and cafes and stuff, and it makes you really wonder where the locals go to buy their food, because they have so many baseball shops. If you live there, you'd be like, do we really need another baseball souvenir shop? But the answer is yes, you do. A lot of them have some of the same stuff, but they also have there's just so much stuff to shift through, and the atmosphere of the town is really cool. I told my wife, and she agreed with me. I'll say this much, that if I had to live in New York, I would live in Cooperstown, and she really liked the town itself as well. So it was a big win for her as well, which is pretty impressive, because she's not like a baseball gal. I'll tell you that much. She is, but she really enjoyed this trip still. She said that she really enjoyed the trip. She really enjoyed. She had more fun, she said, than she thought she would. So I will say it was a win in that as well. But yeah, we really enjoyed it. We had a fantastic time. It was a nice leisurely trip, I would say. It's not like it wasn't like Disney World where you're like trying to fit everything in, You're like, this is, we are just having a grand old time, and just being able to walk around and like walk to where we were going to eat, which was like 2 minutes, a 2-minute walk maybe. And then you go back to the Hall of Fame after that, the rest of the museum. So that was really cool.
Yeah, so I want to ask you, like, the one question that I'm pretty sure all the listeners that are listening are just begging me to ask: how was the food? I mean, I know we've kind of talked about it, but that's the hard hitting question for you. How was the food? What'd you get? Would you get it again?
Yeah, I went to we went to Doubleday Cafe, which was like right around the corner. It was down the same street. You just kind of like walk a block maybe, and it's right there. And on Doubleday Cafe, I had a double cheeseburger. And I will say it was one of the best cheeseburgers I had. I will say that much. So yeah, I really enjoyed the cheeseburger. And their fries were really good too, actually. And then we went to Hardball Cafe, which is just another block down the road. And it's like an outdoor cafe. It has some coverings. It has a lot of TVs. They have the MLB TV package, so they were able to put on like any game that you want, except for the New York teams, because those are blacked out. So yeah, that was a lot of fun too. And that I got a grilled chicken sandwich there. Their fry is a little too salty though. I had to like wipe the salt off of there, but it was good. Breakfast, we usually just had the continental breakfast free at the Holiday Inn. We stayed at the Holiday Inn, which was about a 8-minute drive for outside of Cooperstown.
Yeah, so I mean, you were texting me the whole way up. I loved getting pictures, and I know you didn't send a ton, obviously, because I knew you were going to do the Facebook dump,
Yeah.
and you did the Facebook dump, and just like going through and living vicariously through you, it made me want to just start packing up the stuff and going. Like it
You
just,
got it. You got it.
I was like, I've got to go. I've got to go see everything that is in the hall for the Cubs, for baseball in general, and then a lot of just baseball history that you just don't know about or you just don't appreciate. And speaking of, what was, I guess, give me like your top like 3 or 4 things that you found in the hall that maybe you didn't know a whole lot about, or like, is there stuff that you saw and you're like, oh my gosh, like this is the most interesting and fascinating thing because here I am standing right in front of such and such.
Way more than 3 or 4, but I will.
Go with 100. Tell us everything.
I will show this one specifically here because I am amazed. So if you're on the video feed, this is a ball from the first series of games in which admission was charged.
That's wild.
September 10th, 1858. This is one of the balls. Who decided to keep that? That's what I want to know. The Hall of Fame wasn't founded yet, so somebody's like, we charged admission for the first time. I'm going to keep this. And then they have to donate it later,
Yeah.
Like, that is insane. And it doesn't have the regular stitching. It's like a lemon. So it goes huge. Like 4 stitches and they meet at the top. So yeah, it is pretty cool. Little ball here. Like, I don't know. It was, there was so when you first go in, there's a video that you can go watch. It's called Generations of the Game. And I will say also, this video is really good. I teared up a few times. I got goosebumps a few times. But there was like a pre-show that was trivia questions. And one of those questions was, when did they first do the admissions? I'm pretty sure I guessed 1858, and it was right. And then they said, oh, we have that ball here. And I'm like, I'm going to have to go see that. So I made sure, I saw everything. I mean, like, that was one of the ones I was like, I want to go see this. And I will say also, the video had to be not a projector. It had to be like an LCD screen because it was super clear. It was a huge screen, super clear, high def. It was like you were actually looking at the people in front of you. It was pretty good technology. It was updated through 2020 World Series.
I know. I just remember that was the very first text that we really got from you, was just this like, oh my gosh, I just watched a video and it was like the coolest video I've ever seen. And I was like, that would just, I guess, because I know there's probably things in there that we all love in the sport. So, I mean, I can't imagine what that's like. What else did you find? Did you find anything else? I know you went for Oriole stuff.
Yeah.
Did you find any cool Oriole things?
Yeah, I'll show you this. This one's really cool. It's a 2-parter, okay? So I'm going to show 2 pictures for this one, but it's a 2-parter. It's really cool. I'll start with this one. So this is not that one. Sorry, wrong one. Where is it? Right here. So this is a Baltimore newspaper called the Morning Herald. This is from 1894, in which they had etchings of the members of the 1894 champion Baltimore Baseball Club, who were nicknamed the Orioles. And there's actually if you're on the video here, this guy is waving an Orioles pennant here. He's in a full suit.
It's been a while.
And then we have, the pictures of them here. And it's this whole paper. So 1894, we had them. Then this is the second part of that. There is a handkerchief there of the 1894 champions. They were in the National League. Then pennant-winning Baltimore Orioles, which starred great Irish-American ball players, it says here. And yeah, so kind of like a 2-parter there. But, the Orioles, as we know them now, were not founded until 1954 when they moved from St. Louis as the Browns to Baltimore. Baltimore likes taking teams with the name Browns. So that was, something cool that, like the name Orioles has been part of the Baltimore Orioles baseball or Baltimore baseball since, the 1800s. And, seeing something tied to my club there, it's not the same club now, is just really cool. Especially that they would have it there because, you probably could have found stuff about older teams in the
Mm-hmm.
1800s that they could have put there, but it's really cool.
Okay, so I guess for people that haven't been to Cooperstown, what's it set up? I mean, is it massive? Is it like a quaint museum? Is it because I'm sitting there trying to picture it myself as you're walking through it and texting about it, or just taking it in, seeing your photos after. I'm like, so like I couldn't quite understand because I mean, at times it looked like these huge museums. At times it looked like chaos. At times it looked like it was really quiet. Like, what was it like? I mean, as far as atmosphere, the building, like, just kind of describe it for people that haven't been.
That's the outside,
Okay.
and this is a picture of me and my wife outside of the Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
But this is where you actually enter. There's no line or anything here. I just was able to walk right up here and walk right in, which I was like expecting like an actual museum type of thing, where you're like
little turnstile.
Yeah. Now, when you do get in there, there is another door that you go through, and then they have the like where you go and like buy your ticket or show your ticket type of thing. So what I did find here, I did find the map that they handed us. So I'm going to share my screen of it. That way you can kind of get a good view of what this looks like. So there we go. So this is the first floor. Now what they actually, so we walked in here where it says Main Street, and then it has the entrance. So we go through this other door here, and then we're in the lobby. And you can go into the store without getting a ticket. So there is a way that you can just kind of bypass that and go into the store. Then otherwise you're going to go wait in line in the main lobby, and then they're going to call you up to these 2 ticket booths where you would either buy your ticket or present your ticket. Then you go around them into this grand atrium where there was a guy there who's like, you're going to go, we recommend you start on the 2nd floor. That's what they recommend. Start on the 2nd floor, go to the 3rd, and finish on the 1st. So we went up to the 2nd floor, which is here on our screen. And you come up the stairs, and that is where they kind of immediately try to usher you into this Generations of the Game movie. So this is what the movie screen looks like, is right there in the Generations of the Game. And then in the little, like, as you're walking through here before you go in there, there is this little exhibit room where it says Picturing America's Pastime right here. And this is where they have, like, pictures, like actual pictures of all these old pictures or newer pictures, whatever. Like, they did have one of, like, Ichiro, like, doing his batting stance, right? They had one of Tim Lincecum with his pitching. But they also had ones from like the late 1800s and early 1900s that looked clear as day, high def. They must have the negatives there that they're able to use. I don't know. It was pretty cool. So then from there, you exit the Generations of the Game. We went back into Picturing America's Pastime, and then we went into Taking the Field of the 19th Century. So in Taking the Field of the 19th Century, this is where they have the ball of, the first charge of mission. This is where they had the Orioles 1894 newspaper and handkerchief and stuff. And they even had stuff from like when they toured Egypt, and like some of those players climbed the Sphinx, and took pictures there. So it was really cool there. Then we kind of go into Baseball Timeline, which is actually just like a hallway. All this stuff from like continuing that 19th century all the way down to like Stan the Man and all those great players. And it kind of goes all the way over to Viva Baseball, which is all about like Cuban baseball and Dominican Republic, all the players, Latin baseball.
Right.
And then you can kind of go in a whole new ball game, is where the kind of like starting from like kind of like George Brett Kansas City era to now. Is what those 2 rooms are. But off of the Baseball Timeline, there is a little Babe Ruth like U shape, where you can kind of go here, read about Babe Ruth, come back out of there to the timeline. And then they have the ideals and injustices, which is actually all about like black baseball and how they weren't allowed to play, how they created their own leagues, how Jackie Robinson broke the color barrier again, and kind of going from there. this diamond dreams in the bottom corner here is the women's baseball, all about the All-American girl baseball league, and like they even had like the hard hat of the woman who designed Camden Yards.
Okay.
And it had the Oriole logo, and then it had her name on the bill, stuff like that. And then once you're done whole new game, you're back out to the grand atrium, and then that's where you go up to the third floor where they recommend you go next. We went to lunch. We took from I'll tell you, this second floor took us from 9:30 to 2:00.
And I was gonna say though, like you are a big history buff, so like this had to be like your sweet spot when it came to sports, like, and everything on here. I mean, I didn't even realize that's cool that they have women in baseball where they're just showing you like women that worked in baseball. I'm thinking like when I'm thinking women in baseball, I'm thinking League of Their Own kind of stuff.
Yeah, they had that stuff. They had women that worked in baseball. They had little leaguers that played baseball. Not the Monet Davis stuff though. Hers is in whole new game.
Okay.
But they had like other little leaguer stuff in there from girls that played there. So then we went to lunch, 9:30 to 2:00 on this floor. Now my wife did take a while to read, so sometimes I was done everything and she's kind of dragging her feet a bit.
Right.
But then we go to after lunch, we went up to the third floor, and that's where they have the new Sacred Ground, which is all about ballparks.
Okay.
So it shows like they had a piece of Ebbets Field there, and they had all these older ballparks, and then talked about how Camden Yards ushered in the new ballparks.
Mm-hmm.
Chasing the Dream is the Hank Aaron exhibit that they currently have, all about him chasing that record, Babe Ruth. Then they have one for the books, which is just all about records, milestones. This was another cool exhibit. They have stuff for Barry Bonds breaking the home run record. They have, stuff of like Mark McGwire and Sosa breaking their record. They have all kinds of stuff in that room.
Did they have Kerry Wood like 20 strikeout game stuff?
Ooh, I don't know. I did take a lot of pictures that I still am going to have to shift through later, because I was like, we're running out of time, so I'm going to take a picture of stuff. I'll read that later. But then they had Autumn Glory, which was great. This is the postseason stuff. They had almost every World Series ring.
That's awesome.
They had, I think they were missing, 94 was missing because there was no World Series.
Yeah.
And then there was a few that were missing in the early days before they were, and whatever they had before rings. Like some would give out like watches or whatever. They had that stuff there. Then we got into Shoebox Treasures, which is doing baseball cards. And I want to share something in this. They had a green screen there, and you would be able to create your own baseball card. So you stand in the green screen, they tell you where to look, and you get this emailed to you. But I have these, they send these to you in the email. This is like a 18.
That's cool.
100 baseball card they create of you, and then like another older one, right? Then 60s card here. This, I did not sign this.
I was going to say, did you sign that?
They created a signature for me.
That's wild.
Then we get this one, and then we get like a modern day card. And what happens is once you're done taking the picture, you can ask. It looks so stiff in these too. I hate it. But after you're done, they ask you to like pick your position, pick your team, and it'll generate all that stuff for you. And they also have like just like stuff you can pull out of the wall to see all these older cards. And then you go into your team today, which is a lot of stuff from today's baseball. So I have an image of this as well. This is the locker of the Orioles in the modern day. So it has 2 tickets from the game that was behind closed doors due to the riots. So they have tickets of that. They have a ball from that J.J. Hardy hit to score a run in our first wild card game in 15 years. In our first playoff game in 15 years. That's 2012 wild card game. They have, Weeder's glove from when he broke a record. They have, jerseys for saves and Adam Jones cleats. They just have a whole bunch of stuff that's related to your team. The one that I had sent you, or posted and took for you was a 2016 World Series base is sitting in one of these Cubs lockers.
Yeah.
for that, and like a Rizzo jersey from the playoffs or whatever. But yeah, so that's really cool. And then after that, you go down to the first floor again, and that is where in the first floor we went to the Art of Baseball, which is just like art based on baseball.
Okay.
Like they had sculptures of Christy Mathewson. They had paintings of players and stuff. Then we go into inductee row. So they had a lot of stuff about, they had like Jeter and, Larry Walker stuff there posted on the walls. And then you go into the plaque gallery, and this is where we just have all the plaques. And from there, you can go into this little library building, which we didn't know about. And then I was like, oh, let's get that done. Where they had like, in this bullpen theater section, it is stuff about, in the bullpen theater, this is where you can press a button and watch Who's on First. They have like a TV there of Who's on First. You can watch that whole sketch. And then they have Scribes and Mike Men, which is all about baseball writers and announcers. And then they had Baseball at the Movies, which had like Mr. 3000, Field of Dreams,
Sandlot
stuff. Sandlot. And then outside of here, they have a sculpture garden, which is what this mound and plate is. And it's like, two sculptures there. They have a sculpture of one of the women baseball players, and they had Satchel Paige there as well. So lots of really cool things in this. I'll stop sharing the screen now. But that's how it laid out. So I hope that answered that question. That question took a while to answer for you. But
yeah, but I was like interested because whenever, before you go to places,
you're
just kind of imagine.
In your head.
Yeah.
And this was not what I thought it would be like, but it was very well laid out.
I was going to say, it's pretty impressive. I mean, just the pictures of the plaques alone. And that's the picture you see all the time because that's the plaques they end up putting in to the hall. And it's just, these players, and just like in that glass case is something that Babe Ruth touched, or like, some of these classics, just, looking at pieces of old baseball fields that once existed, or like the 2016 World Series base that I was very happy to see when you sent the picture over in Rizzo's jersey, and just like the memory. I think it's like a lot of that too, like would have to be, especially with you, like looking at the Orioles stuff. Like I'm sure you remember that weird time when the strikes were happening, when those riots were happening outside in Baltimore, and you were watching games. And it's weird now to think about like, oh, they played in an empty stadium, or like, all last year we did. So
yeah.
But yeah, I guess like, is there anything like if you had to give somebody advice on like Cooperstown, like visiting, like are there things that you did do that you liked, or like maybe you shouldn't do that, or like definitely do this? Like, was there something where you like, okay, I feel like I really appreciated this maybe more than I thought I would, and maybe I'll advise you to go see it?
So you can see it in one day, but I would say maybe plan 2.
Okay.
I'd say maybe plan for 2, because there was a point where I was a little worried. I felt like I had to rush a bit.
Yeah.
I could take some time. But yeah, I would say, plan for 2 days. I think you can then just even soak up the little town feeling a little bit more. And go into the local shops. They have some cool things. This is something we had here. They had a Babe Ruth signed ball, PSA grade 6, $28,000 in one of these little shops outside of there.
That's wild.
And they also had like Derek Jeter stuff, a signed Babe Ruth check, all this kind of stuff. Was really cool. Also, look to see if there's anything that you have that exists in the Hall of Fame, because I will show you something that I own in my household that is in the Hall of Fame. So I felt pretty cool. I sent it to my parents. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
This Ironbird's Rubik's Cube.
Are you serious?
It was a free thing at one of the Ironbird games when I went, and it's in the Hall of Fame.
They stole your Rubik's Cube, Jordan.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So maybe you can donate something to the Hall of Fame. I don't know. Reach out to them. This was really cool, too. This is a ball from the final game of the 1906 All-Chicago World Series, which was won by the White Sox.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah. Just really cool, like how the ball is starting to fall apart and stuff, like and just take your time and walk through it. It's going to keep expanding. It's going to keep changing.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of the things I really want to go see as well. This is Shohei Ohtani's bat
Mm.
earlier this season when he
That's
hit a home
crazy.
run, and I think it was also when he had pitched in the game as well. It was from like the first month of the season. I can't read this now, but I can read it on my phone. It's like Facebook blurs it out some.
Yeah.
They even have Dr. Fauci's
I
mask.
was gonna say Fauci made the appearance in the Baseball Hall of Fame. That's
They have Fauci's mask for when he threw up.
man, that's wild.
And just one last thing I really want to share here. This baseball on scorecard in the Viva Baseball or this baseball and lineup. This is from when in 1999 Orioles went to Havana, Cuba, and played an exhibition game. I remember this being big news in '99, and I'm pretty sure I was either watching it on TV or seeing highlights. I'm not sure,
Mm-hmm.
but I definitely remember this game happening. So it was cool to see that in there. And they also have things like they had all these clocks on the wall. It says running time of Bambi is 1 hour and 10 minutes, but the shortest 9-inning game was the Phillies versus the New York Giants in September of 1919. It was 51 minutes long. 9-inning game.
No way.
Yeah.
Somebody lied.
And they also had one of the longest game, which I'm trying to find here, which was Yankees at Red Sox, of course, 2006. 4 hours and 45 minutes. We know how long those games go for those two teams.
Mm-hmm.
And just don't be scared to wear a glove. This guy here in this picture is the last guy to play barehanded because he thought they all thought wearing gloves were not manly.
Oh,
so he was the lone holdout until eventually he gave in. Maybe his hand was hurting too much. But
I was gonna say, could you imagine catching like a Babe Ruth ball, like a 120 exit velo, just right onto the hand?
yeah. I'm assuming back then they didn't have the
that exit velocity.
Yeah, they didn't have that bad. So one last thing, because this is a cool story that happened. So these are all the no-hitters that have taken place this year.
Mm-hmm.
And, one of those is John Means for the Orioles. I'm not really sure which one because it says from left to right, but they have 3 in the back and then 4 in the front. So I'm guessing you do the first 3 in the back and then the next 4. But this night, after we left here, we go back and I'm watching on MLB.TV the no-hitter thrown by Gilbert of the Diamondbacks, and he throws that no-hitter. I'm in Cooperstown as it happened. I had just seen this exhibit, and
it's getting another ball.
It's getting another ball, so it's already outdated. But it was cool to be in Cooperstown when that happened and being like, this is like I just saw history, and that ball is going to be where I'm at now. So just a cool story there.
It's perfect timing, though. It was like, what a great time to go. It probably wasn't too crowded because like all the kids are back in school. So it's kind of like, okay, we'll make that trip up for the weekend. Go. You got to stop in Scranton, which I'm just absolutely jealous for all those Office fans out there, just because, you got to see so much in one weekend. I was like, man, just to top it off, you should have just stopped by like Camden and just saw a game or something like that. Just on the way back home. But now that you're home, I guess I'll ask the toughest question of them all, and it might be tough to answer. Favorite thing that you saw at the Hall of Fame? I know it's a big question. Like, was there something you were just like, man, I can't believe that I saw that?
Yeah, I think there is. Let me see if I can find a picture of it real quick, because I do have an answer to this that I think would be fun. And if not, I will just not share the picture. Yeah, it's not loading right. Okay. So I think the coolest thing I saw, they had a little window that was all Oriole things. It had Brooks Robinson's jersey from when they retired his number. It had Earl Weaver's jersey. It had the coolest thing it had, because they had like Jim Palmer's tag from the locker. It also had it had Frank Robinson's Triple Crown trophy from when he won the Triple Crown batting titles. So that was really cool, and it was
That would
in
be
there.
cool.
And we haven't really seen a Triple Crown winner in such a long time. I mean,
Right.
Miggy got one in like 2012, I think.
Yeah,
and that was the last time, right? So we haven't had one in a while, and from there he was I think Frank Robinson or Yastrzemski was like the last one before Cabrera had done it. So there's really only been 3 in like the last 50 years. So seeing that there was really cool. And then I would also probably say in the postseason room, they had the Yankees 27th World Series, and they also had rings, like I said, for almost everyone, and seeing how they go from kind of like smaller rings to like this. They had the Dodgers ring, which is huge. They had, I was like, man, these have gotten insane. But being able to see all 3 of the Orioles rings from 66, 70, and 83 were really cool, because that's not something that I get to see a lot, like I see Ravens rings all the time because they're more recent and
they win it all the time.
Yeah, they won it twice in my lifetime, which is more than the Orioles. So that, seeing that, and I saw one up close at Disney when the Ravens coach, one of the Ravens assistant coaches were there, and it was right in front of me. But being able to like see these, older, World Series rings, and we'll talk about it, right? Because we're gonna cover the postseason this year, but October baseball is just so much fun. It's my favorite playoffs of any league. So, kind of being in that room with all the postseason stuff, they had a whole window of just the 2020 World Series stuff.
Gotcha.
Rays, Dodgers. So that was really cool too. So I just gave you 5 answers.
No, that was great, because that would be really cool just to see the Frank Robinson stuff. I mean, a legend in his own, and one of your guys. So I think that would be kind of like saying again, like the 2016 World Series stuff for the Cubs. It would be like that would be the thing that would be ideal for me to see. And you were right. You actually hit it right on the head. Miguel Cabrera was 2012 AL Triple Crown winner with Detroit. And then, yes, the last one was Carl Yastrzemski, 1967, the AL. And then right before that,
Frank. To our first World Series.
Yeah, that's it's really good names. Mickey Mantle's the next on the list. Gosh.
And Cabrera, we're waiting for home run number 500, and he's only got like 50 to go for 3,000 hits. So we're on watch for those.
Yeah, and Miggy, I can remember when he was like 17 playing against the Cubs and absolutely tearing them to shreds in the NLCS. That was a lot of fun. Really, really horrible memories with that series. But yeah, I think, Cooperstown is that ideal place that all baseball fans want to go. It's the grounds. One cool thing that you didn't mention, and just kind of go over quickly, I guess. I don't want to keep you too long, but kind of like that map that you got as far as like the baseball stops. Obviously, one of those baseball stops being the Field of Dreams. But like that list that you sent was like, I was like, gosh, they literally have every spot in baseball on that map.
It does. It has every minor league stadium, every major league stadium, every independent league stadium, which is crazy. And it had the movie site for Field of Dreams. It even has something I didn't know about. In Owings Mills, there is a Negro League museum there too. Not like the big one that's in Kansas City, but there is some sort of museum to that in Owings Mills, which is not far from me. So I've added a new thing to my list now of where to go. It has Babe Ruth's gravesite on it. It has the Troy. I don't know if it has the Troy Monument on there, but it's something I learned about from ESPN Tonight podcast. But there's a Troy monument from when they used to have a baseball team up in Troy, New York, that kind of became the Giants at some point. So they had the Troy, and then they kind of got dissolved, and then they created the New York Giants, and then a lot of their players went there. And when the Giants actually won their World Series, I think in 2010, they actually went over to the Troy Monument and stuff. So it has so much things on there that I'm like, okay, this is a little overwhelming. So I'm not going to all those stadiums, obviously.
We're going to be on all of those things. Jordan and I are going to make a long trip next summer.
I am going to all the major leagues, and I guess we could talk about this too. I'm going to create a video series about going to all of these places that I get to go to, including like the Babe Ruth Museum, which is in Baltimore. I'm going to go there. I'm going to make a video that's even more detailed. So if you liked this Hall of Fame stuff, I'm going to make a video that's more detailed about the things I found. I took some videos. I'm going to show some pictures on it, but we're going to have a whole video that's probably going to be super long at this rate. And then I'm going to make some for the stadiums I've been to and the stadiums I'm going to for the rest of this year. So.
No, it'd be fun because you're in a great area. Like, I'm always jealous of you because you're within 5.
Yeah, my area on the map is the part that had to be zoomed in because it has everything.
It's literally everything. But yeah, just kind of wrap that up. It seems like it'd be a blast to go to Cooperstown. They've got Williamsport up in that area. You've got Camden. You've got Fenway. You got Yankee Stadium. It's really, you guys are, I guess, just spoiled in your riches up there in the Northeast as far as just baseball is concerned and just that pastime and all the history that goes with all those teams. But yeah, I think that wraps it up. If you're interested in what Jordan really got to experience in Cooperstown in much more detail, I know he's got tons of photos. It'll be kind of like this walking tour, I guess, that you're planning on doing, that just take people inside the experience of Cooperstown, because to be honest, it's really tough to travel right now. It's really tough to get over to Cooperstown. It's really tough to kind of get there in a lifetime. It might not be the most convenient place to get to for some people, but I know that everybody that's a fan of baseball will be interested in catching your video whenever it is that we release that. We've got a bunch of stuff planned over the next couple of weeks, months, year. Just spitballing ideas last night with Jordan. Texting back and forth on the different things that we can do. So we got a ton of stuff that we can cover. October is coming, so looking forward to covering the postseason. September, that grind and that crunch. We'll have a preview show for October where we'll unofficially start the podcast, and we'll officially start the podcast as the winter meetings coming up here pretty soon. Other than that, you can catch us over at Twitter for right now. We'll just kind of throw that out there, and the rest of them will get going as we get going, and Jordan can drop the YouTube on our Twitter, and people can go over and check out the stuff that he's doing. We're at Extra Innings Show. Drop the E because we don't make any E's on this show. That's a kind of a little baseball pun there. I hope you like that one. But anything else, Jordan, before we let these lovely people go after a really, really fun talk about Cooperstown?
Make the trip. It is seriously, I didn't think I would enjoy it as much as I did, even as a baseball guy. It was one of my favorite trips, and part of it is probably because of the history as well. I'm a history major, so having both those things tied together was really special and great.
Yeah, so I think this will be a fun podcast because Jordan loves the history. He knows a lot more of the facts than I did. The fact that you knew Carl and all of them, I guess, was just like, wow, he knows a lot of stuff. It's like, that's great because history, I have a horrible memory. So just kind of going off that as far as history is concerned. But yeah, no.
Last cycle winner of the Orioles, Felix Pa. There you
go. Look at you. Wow. Felix Pa of the Chicago Cubs and formerly of the Chicago Cubs and Baltimore Orioles.
It's a cycle.
We'll do a whole episode on former Baltimore Oriole and Cubs that played for each other and see how well it fares for you. I know Sosa played with you too, so we'll just have a fun episode of like former Cubs. That'd be really fun to do, like a 10-minute segment. But anyway, you can catch us over on Twitter. Tweet at us. Drop a like if you haven't dropped a like on the video
rate
section.
Us on iTunes.
Rate us on iTunes. We're all over the place, so you can catch us at any of your bases that you want to. So
at the nearest base.
Yeah, right. So until next time, thanks for listening, and we'll catch you guys later.
The Extra Innings Baseball Show is hosted by Logan Stump, edited and produced by Jordan Wiegand, and we hope that everybody enjoys us talking some baseball in this MLB 2022 season that is upcoming. Thank you.